I never thought a passport stamp could ruin a life. Not mine. Hers. Not directly, anyway. It was supposed to be the happiest day of our lives. My girlfriend, no. My fiancée stood at the airport with tears in her eyes, boarding pass in one hand, dreams in the other. Paris, the city of love, the city of art, the city that took her away from me. "I'll be back before you know it," she whispered, brushing her fingers against my cheek. 6 months. Just one dance tour. She kissed me like she meant it, hugged me like she didn't want to let go. Then she let go. That was the last real thing I remember. Because while she danced under glittering chandeliers in French theaters, I was dancing around the truth back home. Around creditors. Around overdue bills. Around the fact that she left with our future in her suitcase on, I was left trying to survive with what remained. Every phone call felt more distant. Every video chat felt staged. I saw it in her eyes. The hunger, the glow, the unfamiliarity. And then, one day, she stopped calling. Just like that. No goodbye. No explanation. Only silence. And in that silence, secrets began to scream. My name is Saad. I'm 31, born and raised in Lahore, graphic designer by profession. Struggling romantic by fate. Life for me was always simple, quiet, and just a little bit underwhelming until I met her. Nayla. She didn't walk into my life, she twirled into it. Literally. I first saw her on a cold December evening during a college fest, dancing barefoot in the middle of a dusty auditorium floor like the world belonged to her. I don't even remember the music, just her. The way she moved, like her bones, had melodies inside them. I was frozen, holding a half-eaten samosa, heart-skipping beats like it was part of her choreography. She noticed me staring. She winked. That was Nayla. Unapologetically bold, dangerously free, and completely out of my league. But somehow, she picked me. We were different in every possible way. I was logic, she was instinct. I planned for the week she didn't know where her socks were 5 minutes ago. I designed logos for local brands, she choreographed street flash mobs and called it art for the people. And yet we clicked. We were inseparable. From late-night biryani runs to sharing one cheap chai in the university cafe, we built a rhythm. Our own. People said it wouldn't last. Artists don't settle, they warned me. She's too wild. You'll get tired of chasing her. But I didn't chase her. I stood still, and for some miraculous reason, she came back to me every time. After graduation, she started getting noticed. First a local AD, then a televised dance competition. Soon, brands wanted her, and so did choreographers in Dubai, London, and eventually Paris. Meanwhile, I started freelancing full-time. Designed wedding cards, product packaging, mobile apps, name it, I did it. Not glamorous work, but it paid the rent. And more importantly, it let me stay close to her. We moved in together 2 years ago. A one-bedroom apartment with cracked paint and a leaky tap, but it was ours. She danced in the living room while I worked at the dining table. We argued over groceries and hugged like the world might end. When she got the offer to join a 6-month residency with a Parisian dance company, I saw the glow in her eyes before she even told me. That spark. That hunger I'd fallen in love with. "I won't go, he say no," she whispered. How could I say no? So I smiled, kissed her forehead, and said, "Go shine. I'll be here when you come back." I thought love meant letting someone fly even if you had to stay grounded. I thought I was doing the right thing. But what I didn't realize was sometimes, when you let someone go, they forget to come back. At first, everything seemed fine. The first few weeks after she left, we talked every night. She'd call from her tiny Paris apartment, her hair still damp from rehearsals, cheeks glowing with excitement. I'd ask about the choreography, the other dancers, the city lights, pretending I wasn't already counting the days until she came home. But slowly things began to shift. The calls got shorter. Sometimes she wouldn't call at all. Just a quick exhausted. "Love you. Talk tomorrow." Text at 2 a.m., which was 6 a.m. for me. I told myself she was just tired. Jet-lagged. Izzy. Living her dream. But dreams shouldn't feel like abandonment. One night, I was on a client call, half listening while watching an Instagram reel Nayla had posted from a rooftop in Montmartre. She looked radiant, laughing with a group of dancers, a glass of wine in hand, Eiffel Tower twinkling in the background. I paused the video. There was a man beside her. Tall. Bearded. Hand casually resting on her back like he'd done it 1,000 times. I tried not to overthink. Maybe just a friend. A colleague. But then I noticed something else. The bracelet. A thin, braided leather band on her wrist, one I'd never seen before. And more importantly, not the one I gave her before she left. The one she promised never to take off. The same bracelet that was now missing. I swallowed hard. Shook off the chill running down my spine. Later that week, she forgot to call on my birthday. No text. No voice note. Nothing. I waited the entire day telling myself maybe the time difference got her confused. Maybe she was planning something special later. At midnight, I left her a message, trying to keep my voice light. Guess who just turned 31 and spent it with microwave biryani? Call me when you can, superstar. She didn't reply until the next day. OMG, baby, I'm sorry. We had a last-minute rehearsal that went crazy late. Happy birthday. I love you. No video. No call. Just text. And for the first time, it felt hollow. Like someone else was typing for her. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying her words in my head, wondering if I was imagining things. If I was being insecure, clingy. But then as something happened. I logged into our shared Netflix account, looking to distract myself with something light. As I scrolled past the continue watching list, one title caught my eye. Before sunrise, a film she always refused to watch with me, saying it was too slow, too European, too romantic. But someone had watched it recently. Finished it, actually. And the account showed it had been viewed from a different device, one I didn't recognize. Registered in France. My heart sank. She didn't just forget my birthday. She was building a new life without me in it. And this time, it wasn't just the distance I was fighting, it was someone else's shadow. I kept staring at the Netflix history, like it would confess something more. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe she watched it out of boredom. Maybe the device name being unfamiliar meant nothing. But the bracelet, the forgotten birthday, the fading voice on the other end of the line. How many maybes does it take before the truth starts whispering louder? That night, I lay on the mattress, arms behind my head, watching the ceiling fan spin like it had all the answers. My phone buzzed. Her name flashed. Nayla calling. I let it ring once, twice, 3 times. Then I answered. Hey, I said, keeping my voice light, like nothing was clawing at my insides. Hi, baby, she chirped. Too cheerful. Too fake. Guess where I am? Where? On a boat. She giggled. Sane river cruise. Very touristy, very beautiful. I forced a chuckle. Alone? There was a beat. Half a second. Maybe less. But I caught it. No, silly. With the group. Our choreographer surprised us. Nice, I said. Sounds fun. She kept rambling, describing the water, the sunset, the wine painting a picture I wasn't in. I listened like a stranger, smiling at all the right moments, heart quietly breaking between them. After a while, I asked, Do you ever miss home? Of course, she said quickly. Every day. Do you miss me? This time, the pause was longer. Sada, her voice softened. You know I do. But I didn't know. Because I miss you doesn't sound like background music and laughter in the distance. It doesn't sound like someone rushing through a conversation they didn't want to have in the first place. I watched Before Sunrise, I said casually. Silence. It was on the Netflix list. Funny, right? You always hated that movie. Yeah, she said after a moment. I got bored one night. Give it a shot. And the new device? What? Never mind, I muttered. She sighed. Saad, don't do this. Do what? This. You're reading into things. You're overthinking. Maybe, I said. But do you know what it feels like to be left behind while your person builds a new life and forgets to look back? She didn't answer. I used to know every version of you, I whispered. But now you feel like someone else's story. Saad, I'm just busy. No. You're becoming someone I can't reach anymore. We both went quiet. Then she said, let's talk later, okay? We're about to dock. Sure. I hung up first. And cried. Not the loud, dramatic kind. Just slow, silent tears that soak your pillow and don't stop even when you tell yourself to get over it. The next morning, I opened her Instagram again. There he was, the tall guy with the beard, tagging her in stories now. Casual boomerangs, group photos, slow-motion clips of dance rehearsals. Always close to her. Always touching her in some way. Always present. She never mentioned him once. I started spiraling. I zoomed in on their photos. Watched the comments. Read too much into emojis. Obsessively checked timestamps. Compared our old pictures to the new ones hers with him. Why wasn't she smiling like that with me anymore? Was I always this insecure, or had her silence taught me paranoia? I didn't know whether to ask her directly or stay quiet and die a little every day. My best friend, Danish, noticed something was off. You're losing weight, bro, he said one evening. You look like you're fasting for heartbreak. I think she's cheating on me, I whispered. He didn't act shocked, just nodded slowly. You think, or you know. That's the problem. I don't know anything anymore, and she tells me even less. Then find out. He said simply, you deserve to know, even if it hurts. He was right. But what if knowing was worse than suspecting? What if the truth didn't set me free, it just confirmed that I was never enough? Still, a part of me needed answers. I just didn't know that the truth was already on its way and it wouldn't come through her. It would come from someone else entirely. It happened on a Sunday. Lahore's kind of Sunday, the air thick with chai, the roads lazy, and every neighbor's kid playing cricket outside. I was scrolling through my emails, clearing spam, deleting old client threads, just trying to stay busy. Stay numb. That's when I saw it. Subject: Invoice confirmation, Paris Ballet Foundation. I blinked. Clicked. The email was addressed to naila.sidic@gmail.com, but forwarded to our shared backup account. Something we set up years ago during a joint freelance project and forgot to disable. She clearly hadn't realized it was still linked. The invoice was attached. A round-trip flight itinerary. 2 tickets. One in her name. The other not mine. Ryan Dumont. I read it twice. Then again. My stomach twisted. The flight was booked for the following week. From Paris to Lahore. 2 passengers. Same seat row. I sat there frozen, heart pounding like it was trying to escape my chest. A dull ringing filled my ears. She was coming back. With him. I clicked the link embedded in the email. It took me to the Foundation's booking portal. A simple confirmation page, and below it, a message from the sender. Enjoy your break, Naila. You and Rayan deserve some real rest after that phenomenal tour. See you in April. Rest. Tour. You and Ryan. I stood up so fast the chair fell back. All the doubt, the denial, the second-guessing gone. It was real. He wasn't just a dance partner. Or a background character in her new Paris life. He was coming home with her. To the city we built our love in. To the apartment that still smelled like her. To me. I paced the room like a madman. Fists clenched, eyes wild. I wanted to scream. Punch the wall. Fly to Paris and drag her back like the liar she was. But instead, I sat. And stared. At the email. At her betrayal laid out in perfectly typed rows and airline codes. I picked up my phone. Dialed. It rang. Once. Twice. Then her voice. Hey, baby, she said softly, almost guilty. Are you busy? I asked, steadying my voice. Just heading into rehearsal. Can we talk tonight? Sure, I said, One question, though. Yeah? Who's Rayan? Dead silence. It felt like hours passed in the 3 seconds she took to answer. Then a weak laugh. Well, what are you talking about? Don't lie, Nayla, I said coldly. I saw the tickets. The email came to the backup account. Remember that one? You must have forgotten. She didn't respond. I trusted you, I continued. I let you go. I held the fort while you chased your dream. And you found someone new and booked a vacation home like I'm a pit stop you'll wave at from the window. Her voice cracked. It's not what you think, please don't insult me. Sada, I didn't plan for this. It just happened. We were together all the time and I was lonely and you weren't lonely, I snapped. You were free. She started crying. For a moment I wanted to comfort her. To forget. To pretend this was just a bad movie. But I couldn't. Not this time. You coming back with him? I asked. Silence. I'll take that as a yes. That I said the one thing I never imagined saying. Don't come here. Stay with him. Wherever you want. But this apartment, this city, this chapterette's no longer yours. Saad, please don't do this, you already did. I ended the call. And for the first time in months, the silence didn't scare me. It felt like the truth. Sharp. Cold. Cleansing. She came anyway. I heard the knock at the door 3 days after that, call soft, hesitant, like she wasn't sure she should be there. I didn't answer, just stared at it. At the chipped paint we used to laugh about fixing. At the door that once welcomed her home from long rehearsals, now holding her on the other side like a stranger. Then I heard her voice. Saad, I know you're in there. I opened it. She looked different. Not just tired. Not just jet-lagged. Different in a way that had nothing to do with the flight. Or Paris. Or dance. She looked like someone I used to know. Nayla, I said quietly. Can I come in? I stepped aside. She walked in like she didn't recognize the place. As if our home had become unfamiliar. Her eyes scanned the living room, landing on the framed photo of us and Marie. The one where she had snow in her eyelashes, and I was mid-laugh. You didn't take it down, she whispered. I wanted to remember what love used to feel like. She flinched. We stood there in silence for a moment. The air between us was full of everything we hadn't said. Then she broke it. I'm sorry. For what? I asked, crossing my arms. For cheating? For lying? For pretending we were fine while you danced into someone else's arms? Tears welled up in her eyes. It wasn't like that. It never is. Until it is. I didn't mean to fall for him, she said, voice cracking. We were together every day, Saad. Rehearsals, late night talks, shared exhaustion. He was there. And you were... And you were steer. Carrying our life alone. Believing in us while you replaced me. She looked down. I took a deep breath. You could have told me. You could have said you were drifting. But you needed space. But you didn't. You let me rot in uncertainty while you fell in love again. I was scared, she said. Of what it would do to you. Of what it would say about me. It says you're selfish, I snapped. And cowardly. She flinched again. I deserve that. I stared at her. Did you ever love me, Nayla? She stepped closer. I did. With everything I had. But somewhere in Paris I became someone else. And that version of me didn't belong to this life anymore. I laughed bitterly. So that's it? You outgrew us? She reached into her bag and pulled out a small envelope. I wrote you this on the flight. I couldn't say it all out loud. I took it. Didn't open it. She looked at me one last time. I didn't come to beg. I just needed to say goodbye, properly. Why bring him with you then? He's not here anymore. He flew to Karachi to see some family. I came alone. You late. AQ, I said. The version of me that would have forgiven you, he's gone. She nodded slowly, tears slipping down her cheeks. That I'll go too. She turned and walked to the door. Just before stepping out, she looked back. I loved you, Sod. But sometimes love isn't enough. I didn't say a word. The door clicked shut behind her. And in that silence, everything we did was shattered. Not with a scream. Not with a bang. Just a soft goodbye that echoed louder than any fight ever could. After she left, I didn't cry. Not right away. Instead, I sat on the floor beside the same couch, where she once fell asleep mid-conversation, legs tangled in a blanket, arms draped over mine like I was her safe place. Now I felt like an empty shell that used to be a home. I held the envelope she'd left. Thought about burning it. Thought about reading it. Thought about throwing it out the window. Instead, I opened it. Her handwriting was still the same. Neat, slanted, emotional. Dear Sod, by the time you read this, I'll have already broken your heart. I never wanted to be the villain in our story. But sometimes life writes roles we never auditioned for. I loved you. Please believe that. You are the calm in every storm, the voice in my head. When I was lost, the man who never once let me feel like I was chasing dreams alone. But something happened in Paris. I changed. I didn't even see it coming. One day I was dancing to remember us. And the next I was dancing to forget. I know this hurts. And I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to know that what we had was real, even if it didn't last forever. Love always, Nayla. I read it twice. Then again. Every word was soaked in regret, but none of them could undo what she'd done. She chose him. Not in a dramatic movie way with stormy goodbyes and passionate betrayal, but in the slow, quiet death of 1,000 small decisions. Each one pulled her further away from me, while I held on tired to something already fading. In the days that followed, I boxed up her things. I kept only one photo of us, Marie. Snowflakes, smiles. A memory frozen in time, before life grew teeth. I started running again. Not away from the pain, but into it. Every morning, I ran through the old roads we used to walk. Past the coffee shop where she first told me about Paris. Past the bookstore where I once waited 2 hours just to surprise her. I ran until the ache in my chest became rhythmical, until grief turned into something softer like breath. One evening, Danish joined me. You okay? He asked. No, I said honestly, but I'm learning how to be. We sat on a bench, watching the sky fade into orange and violet streaks. Do you regret letting her go? He asked after a while. I shook my head. I regret not seeing it sooner. But letting her go? No. That was the first time I chose me. He nodded. Proud of you, man. I didn't feel proud. I felt reborn. Like pain had stripped me bare, and now I had no choice but to rebuild from scratch. A month later, I got a message from an unknown number. Hey, I know I'm the last person you want to hear from, but for what it's worth, I'm sorry too. She never stopped loving you, even when she was with me. That's why it ended. It was from Ryan. I stared at the message for a long time, heart tight with old wounds. But I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Because for the first time in what felt like forever, I wasn't looking back anymore. I was free. And maybe that's the real twist. Sometimes, the person who breaks you isn't your enemy. Sometimes, they're your mirror showing you exactly what you need to see to finally find yourself. So no, I didn't get revenge. Or a dramatic reconciliation. Or a perfect ending. But I got something better. Closure. And in this messy, chaotic world, that's enough.